Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning and good evening, everyone. Uh, Guys, I require, means like I need your attention here. Okay. So we are about to start the demo session. So before we proceed, I just want to give you a brief introduction about Manoj and also the way we will be conducting today's demo session and the further trainings. Okay. So we have Manoj with us. Okay. And he is having more than 15 years experience in procurement. He worked in SAP MM, SRM, and last 8 years he's working in Ariba. So one more thing is like he's a solution architect, okay, in one of the big four companies, and also he's very good at mentoring the different consultants who are basically from procurement side. So we are conducting this training, especially in SAP Ariba, since last more than 3 years. Okay, and also we are a SAP training and implementation company here. Okay, we do cloud implementations and also we are into support of supporting of SAP projects. Okay, so this is little brief about Manoj and our company, and now we are going to start the demo session. So a request to every one of you guys. So the thing here is like every one of you are on muted state. Okay, it means like just for the recording sake and not to have disturbance in between for the question answers, so we have muted every one of you. Okay, you will be unmuted later on. Okay, once we have finished our demonstration, and also you'll be asked to raise your hands for the question answer sessions. Okay, and this training is complete end-to-end training going to be, and for that today we are going to see the demo session. Okay, so Manoj is going to discuss everything about in and out of Ariba very briefly. Okay, you get a very good insight what exactly Ariba and what are the benefits of Ariba you'll be getting. Yeah, thank you, Manoj. So this is my say, so please you can proceed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Heraj. Just give me a moment over here. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, not an issue, Manoj, take your time. Yeah. So guys, if you are having any questions in between, so make a note of those queries. Okay. Uh, Later on, we'll be answering each and every question from your end. Okay. And if at all you are having anything important or Manoj is asking any questions, you can use your chat window over there. You can find a chat window in the go to meeting box over there. If you see that tool at your right hand side, you can find the chat window. You can make use of that chat window as well. Okay. Yep. So now we are good to start the demo session. And if at all you are having any issue in the audio or something like audio and video, the visualization of the screen, you can ping me over here in the chat window. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Manoj, over to you.
Yeah. Thanks very much over here, Heraj, for a wonderful intro over here. Yeah. And before we start the session, yeah, I don't want to lecture everybody over there with a lot of things, but a simple things over here, guys. That as Heraj pointed out, we have been doing this particular training for the last 3 years. So we have kept our sessions in a very what you can say smooth way and in a proper way. So that is why all of you have been muted over here. If you're having any queries, if you're having any question in between this particular session, when we are excuse me, when we are showing these contents or the views over there, please note it down using your notepad, notepad app over there, or if you are having a notebook with yourself, just note down your question. So we will take that particular question, but during our question answer session. And remember, this is not only for today's session. Throughout the whole training batch, generally we follow this particular methodology so that we can have a very smooth session starting from the first, starting from the demo session till the last session. Okay, otherwise it will become a very haphazard thing, as Eraj pointed out, and we have already seen that thing. So we want help as well as coordination from all of you guys to make this a successful training over here, guys. Okay, and without wasting much time, let's go into the uh, session over here. So first of all, welcome to all of you guys in our Ariba overview session over there. Okay, let's start with our session. Okay, so the first thing is like, before I go into each specific thing about Ariba, you have to understand what is Ariba in a very simple way. That Manoj, what is Ariba over there? So I will tell all of you guys, Ariba is a very simple thing, guys. It's not a very huge complex thing to understand. In a very simple way, if you ask me, Manoj, what is Ariba? I will say Ariba is a procurement solution, exactly, uh, based on the on cloud services. I think now most of you will be having a basic idea about the on cloud services. That means on premise versus on cloud. Over there, on premise means the same software when it will be installed in the client's application server or client server, they are called as on premise solution. Cloud solution, on the other hand, basically means what? That client won't have to install that particular software within their server. Yes, but does not mean that, okay, it does, that particular software does not need to be implemented in any server. No, it has to be implemented, but remember, this will be done within the service provider section. So that means Ariba by itself is the service provider. So Ariba by itself has their own data center or the server where basically they have installed Ariba. Okay, saving a huge amount of money. Exactly. Server maintenance and server upkeep, server updates, server upgrade, these are a huge amount of money. And if you see with the on-premise solution versus on-cloud solution over there, you will see a cost savings in the factor of 35 to 40%. And that 40% is mainly on this particular server maintenance, server upkeep, all those things. So that is why most of the client will say, oh, that much amount of money I'm able to save, and I don't need to keep that server. I don't have that maintenance team for the server. Neither we need to do the costly upgrade of the server over there. That's one of the best reason from moving from on premise to on cloud over there. That's the first thing. Second thing, excuse me, and this is a very important thing, guys, that there is no technical consultant in on cloud solution. Why? Because as I said, when you will be implementing Ariba, you will be working for your service provider company. Service provider means what? Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, EY, PwC, Capgemini, correct? IBM. So these are all service provider, right? So when you will work in the service provider company as a basically SAP partner or implementation partner or support partner for SAP Ariba, you will see only Ariba functional consultants are present for Ariba on cloud solutions. Ariba technical persons are not present. Why? Because as I said, only SAP Ariba engineering team bracket employees of SAP Ariba will have access to the source code as well as database. Why? Because it is installed within the SAP Ariba's database, right? SAP Ariba's server over there. So that's the major difference when you compare on-premise versus on-cloud solution. In on-premise, you are having technical consultant, functional consultant, both from the service provider perspective. But if you look at on-cloud solution, you are having only functional consultant. Why? Because technical consultants work is handled by SAP Ariba itself. We will not have access to any source code changes. Now, some of you are going to ask me, Manoj, uh, like I have seen sometime, not all the time, but sometimes I have seen the requirement for Ariba. Whenever I have seen, sometimes it is saying technical consultant. It is asking me that, do you know Java coding and all those things? And I will suggest to all of you guys, whenever you're seeing that uh, requirement, please do run away from that requirement. Why? Because that is not for your Ariba on cloud services. That is basically for Ariba on premises. Yeah, Ariba also has on premise solution, which is now obsolete. Yeah, and if they're asking for technical consulting role in Ariba, immediately you should understand that that is a Ariba on-premise solution which has been obsolete, which has been made obsolete. Not right now, from 2018 onwards. Please don't go and join over there. It means like you're downgrading rather than upgrading. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. Now we have understood the basic of on-premise versus on-cloud, and we know that Ariba is on-cloud solution. But let us try to understand a little bit more about Ariba from a general perspective. Now, why I'm saying general perspective? Because most of you will say that Manoj, these points which you are going to discuss over here, I have literally seen, and I will say yes. I'm not going to argue on that point, guys. But then he will say, why you're then discussing? Because see, we are not here to only discuss a point, but we are also going to discuss how this point has affected the Ariba's solution, Ariba's attitude, Ariba's architecture towards his client as well as the consultants. So that is the main thing. Knowing the fact, everybody can do that. Knowing the correct answer, everybody can do that. But what you can deduct from the correct answer, or knowing why that answer is correct, that is altogether a different ball game. So that is our main goal. Not only knowing the correct answer, but also to understand why it is correct. And if you know this thing, you will become a very good Ariba functional consultant. And that is our goal over here. So first of all, Ariba is not a new company. It was founded in 1996. And at that point of time, it used to work with Ariba on-premise solutions. Very good. Remember, it was not a SAP company when it was founded. Very good. In 2010, Ariba launched the cloud solution, Ariba on cloud solution. Very good. Excuse me. Now, SAP bought out Ariba in September 2012. Full 2 years after Ariba has launched the cloud solution. Very good. Now you should understand that, boss, Ariba from the beginning is not an SAP company. Ariba was bought out by SAP in 2012. And the second conclusion which all of you can have over here is, Manoj, the cloud solution got launched in 2010, and I will say yes. That means it was developed in 2008 and 2009. I will say yes. When Ariba was bought by SAP 2012, that means yes. Now you know the correct answer, but why it is correct, or what you can conclude from here. The conclusion over here goes like, please don't compare this solution with that of SAP, because most of you, when we will go to the sessions over there, not only from the process flow side, you will also compare SAP Ariba with your configuration. You will say, Manoj, where is the SPRO side? There is no SPRO settings over here. In upstream side, you will have template. In downstream side, you will have different configuration. Integration will be totally different. Exactly. So all of you are going to ask me that how, Manoj, the document type is configured over here in Ariba. Then I will say there is no concept of document type in Ariba itself. Why? All of you will be saying, why, Manoj? Why it is not there? It is present in MM. It is present in SRM. Why it is not present in Ariba? Because Ariba was not developed by SAP. It's not an in-house development system. So this is the first warning we will always mention to all of you guys, because I also did the same mistake in my first project. I also did the same mistake of implementing a Ariba project with respect to the point of view of what? MM or SRM over there. And the project was not fully optimized. Yes, lot of project has been failure, guys, whenever a Ariba consultant tried to implement Ariba with respect to that of MM or from SRM point of view. They tried to basically use the functionality of document type over there. Document type is not present over there. One of the example. There are a lot of other examples which you will see. So always remember one thing: when you are trying to learn Ariba in our sessions, please don't think of it from a or SRM perspective. Why? Because that learning will be very, very dangerous for your career, because the project will be in almost a failure over there. Exactly. Just from our experience over there. My first project was very tough for me. Yeah. Out of all the 6 projects, this is my first project was very tough for me. Why? Because I made the same mistake. But second project, I rectified myself. I never looked back after that. Same thing I will suggest to all of you guys. Don't make that same mistake. Very good. Now, I think we know that for any procurement software, whenever you're talking about any procurement software, there is two users, two group of users, buyers and suppliers. Exactly. Who are buyers? Buyers are basically employees of your client who basically orders the goods and services. Correct? Very good. Not an issue. Supplier are the external users who basically delivers you the goods and services. Yeah. So why I'm talking about the buyers and suppliers users in any procurement system? Because, excuse me, all of you have to remember, see, in and SRM, in other things, you don't have a separate UI for them. Either you ask them to log in through the SAP GUI, or you will have a portal, and that portal URL will be same for both the buyer as well as supplier. But here in Ariba, remember, you will be having two different user interface, bracket, two different URL. URL means website, one for buyer, one for supplier. So buyer will always log in into Ariba buyer. Please don't, think like, Manoj, in Ariba buyer, can the supplier log in? No. In Ariba buyer website or URL or the UI, only buyer would be able to log in. Similarly, can the supplier log in into Ariba network? And I will say yes. Supplier are eligible to log in into Ariba network. But can buyer enter into Ariba network? No, they cannot. That means supplier.ariba.com. So always remember, buyer will have a separate URL for the login. Supplier will also have a separate URL for their login. It's not vice versa. Exactly. It's very important for all of you to remember. Now, very good. Manoj, any other thing which you want to mention about Ariba? I will say, guys, Ariba network is one of the uh, wonderful thing in the whole of our, what you can say, project over there, or uh, in the whole of the Ariba infrastructure over there. Why? Because there you will see that already 3.4 million suppliers registered. So it's basically the world's largest business to business network which is available over here. Exactly. So that is one of the major advantage of Ariba network. Now, why it is major thing? Because you have to remember, if you go to SAP site over there, if you want to onboard any new supplier, how you will do it? You have to manually search for them and you have to manually onboard them. Here, if you don't want to search manually, suppose you go to Ariba network, 3.4 million suppliers present. Now, if you want to choose and want to do business with most of the supplier, just onboard them. You don't have to, you know, go to manual activities over there. Go to Ariba network, search for them, send them a mail, and you onboard them into your Ariba buyer system very easily. That's the advantage of Ariba network. Okay, and you can understand that when I'm saying that last year, $1.5 trillion in the invoices has been taken place in Ariba network as well as Ariba buyer itself. $1.5 trillion in the whole of world. You can understand how much volume of data that is it. If it is in billion, if you would said, Manoj, it's coming in 50 billion or 100 billion, then I could have said, okay, but it's coming in trillion, guys. 1.5 trillion. You can understand its value. Exactly. Next, as we know, Ariba has defined their solution in two ways: upstream solution and downstream solution. So hold on for a moment, guys. All of you are going to say, Manoj, so are you going to just read this particular sentence over here? And I'm going to say, no. Then you will say, Manoj, why you have written this particular statement over there for upstream and downstream? Just for your understanding, that means, see, if you read this particular statement and you explain to us, that means you are basically doing a theoretical session, correct? Now, if you go to the market, most of them will be doing theoretical sessions. What is theoretical session? Okay, what is the meaning of upstream? Take notes. What is the meaning of downstream? Take notes. Done. Next time somebody asks you about this point, what they are going to do is like they are just going to open the copy and they are going to read what is upstream, what is downstream. And can we use this theoretical knowledge in our project? No, not at all. That means if we take that particular theoretical knowledge with us, the training will be equal to zero value. Yes, it will show you that you are having theoretical knowledge, but in the project you won't be able to work. So then all of you will say, what, you know, you know, it's the same thing which is happening over there. And I will say, no, guys, it's not the same thing around over here. Why? Because we do provide practical training. Practical training means what? That means the training which is geared towards the project itself. That means everything what we see in our session is geared towards the project. That means after completing this training, when you will go to the project, it should not be like you will get a shock. You will feel that yes, I'm pretty much comfortable, because these are the things which have been discussed in the training over there. So that means I'm not going to go ahead with this theoretical PPT. Exactly correct, guys. So let us try to understand the Ariba's solutioning perspective and what are the different modules of Ariba with respect to what? With respect to our practical knowledge, what happens in the project, how it happens. So that particular thing we cannot use a theoretical PPT to understand. Let's use our own knowledge, what we have done in a 6+ projects over there. Use that particular terminology, what happens in the project, to define the Ariba. Let's do it. Okay, so that is why I have opened the notepad over here. Now, as I said, Ariba solutions, it is divided into upstream and downstream. But before I go into upstream and downstream, because as I said, practical knowledge, I'm not going to read some, 5, 6 statement for the upstream, 9, 10 statement for downstream. In very simple way, I'm going to define to all of you what is upstream and downstream. So before that thing, we have to understand uh, procurement. Now, if you're going to break the procurement, or if you are going to identify or classify the procurement at a very high level, you will see that procurement is broken down into two main parts. One is new products. Excuse me, guys. Another is old products. What is new product? What is old product, Manoj? You're talking about all these things. New product, I'm talking about procurement of new products. Old products, I'm talking about procurement of old products. Very good. What's the difference? It's the same thing around. No, guys, it's not the same thing around. When you're procuring a old product, the first thing which you will notice is you're having the source of supply for this particular product available in your procurement system. Now, if you try to understand source of supply, Manoj, what do you mean by source of supply? Again, no theoretical knowledge, practical knowledge. Source of supply means you will know from which particular supplier you are going to buy that particular product at what price. Simple thing. You know the supplier and what is the price for that particular product. Immediately you can say that is old product. Okay. Now you come to the new product. Manoj, what is this new product over there? Here we will say is unknown, is known. Unknown means what? That means, Manoj, we have never buy this particular product. And I will say exactly correct. We don't know from which supplier we will buy this product. And I will say yes, correct. And we also don't know what is the price, which basically will be charged by the supplier for this new product. And I will say yes, correct. So that is how you will define the new product and old product. Okay. In Ariba's terminology, you cannot use new product and old product. Why? Because I have used this term new product and old product to make all of you understand the concept. But in Ariba's technical term, guys, new product basically means non-catalog items. So this is the terminology which all of you should use. Yes, new product. So if most of you, if you are new to Ariba, you will, you know, be able to connect with it. Okay, but actually the term over here is non-catalog item. Same thing over here. This is basically called as catalog item. There is no terminology called as old product. Exactly. So basically you will see what? You will basically see the catalog items that is basically for the old product. Very simple, nothing else. Okay. So these are the two technical terms which all of you are going to understand in any procurement system. Now you will say, Manoj, okay, what it has to do with upstream and downstream over here? Why you're talking about all this thing? So if you ask me what is upstream, I will say majorly upstream is that particular solution within Ariba which is used to uh, determine who is the best supplier for you exactly, and what is, which supplier can basically give you the best price. Very good. And once you know who is the best supplier, basically you are going to use a legal agreement with them, right? Because if you don't have a legal agreement, what will happen is like the supplier can change their statement, you can also change your statement. Okay. Once that has been done, what next? Basically you are having a proper source of supply. So in upstream, in a gist, if you ask me, Manoj, what you're trying to do, basically I'm trying to find a source of supply. Now if you're saying I want to find a source of supply, which kind of product you're buying, guys, over here? Through this concept, if somebody asks you in a simple way, all of you can take a guess, and that guess would be, Manoj, non-catalog item. And I will say very correct, guys. So upstream is that procurement activity, okay, through which non-catalog item are procured by finding the source of supply over here. In a very simple way, this is what you call as upstream. Okay. You can basically take some, theoretical jargons over there. See here, long-term procurement over there for timely supply of goods. This, it's proactive in nature, focusing on adding value over long term. What is this? All of you will say, Manoj, what is this? I'm not able to understand this meaning. But in a simple way, if I say upstream is a procurement of non-catalog activity to find out the source of supply, because we don't know what is the source of supply for non-catalog item. Done. That is what you call as upstream. Very good, Manoj. Then what about downstream? Downstream, on the other hand, basically means what? Here, you are doing operational procurement. Operational procurement means procure to pay. So, in general, procure to pay means what? In general, it means source of supply of the product must be known. That means what? the catalog item over there. So that means here you're doing a procurement of catalog items. How? By starting with the ordering. Of course, requisition you will create from there, and then basically you will take the approval, then ordering will happen over there, right? And once the ordering has been done, then what will happen? Delivery, and finally payment. This is what you mean by downstream. So in short, if somebody asks you, I'm asking from a client side, or let's say I'm asking from a um, perfect way of describing the upstream versus downstream, guys, okay, without using theoretical knowledge, or from a project perspective, if a client asks you what is upstream, what is downstream, you know explain us practically. So you have to say upstream is the procurement of non-catalog item, where we find out the source of supply for it. Very simple. Downstream is the procurement of catalog items, where we start ordering them, we take their delivery, and we do the payment against them. So what's the difference between upstream and downstream? If somebody asks you from this particular option, you don't have to come up with uh, 1 2 3 4 5 point over there. The major difference is, you can say, in upstream you're doing procurement of non-catalog item, downstream you're doing procurement of catalog item. That is the first difference. And the second difference, very simple, guys. In upstream you don't have the source of supply at the beginning, but at the end of the upstream you're already having a proper source of supply with yourself. Downstream, on the other hand, means at the beginning only you will have the source of supply. Exactly. So if somebody asks you, practically you try to define what is upstream, what is downstream, because your client are going to ask this question, that I don't want to hear some technical jargon from you. Basically, you're going to implement this Ariba. So you tell me what is upstream, what is downstream. We are all basic users. I don't know anything much about Ariba. So this is how you have to explain them. They will immediately understand. But if you start reading from this particular document what is upstream and downstream, they will not understand. Immediately they will know either your theoretical knowledge is good, or you're not knowing these things properly. Exactly. Now we have understood the basic solution of Ariba, but there are sub modules of our solutions. Let us try to understand or explore about them. So the first thing in upstream is basically, guys, we'll say sourcing. Okay, Manoj, what is sourcing? I will say very simple way. It is mean the meaning of this is tendering. I think most of you will know what is tendering over there. Okay, so within the tendering process, you will be having RFI, RFP, and auction. RFI stands for request for information, RFP stands for request for proposal, and then auction. Then all of you are going to say, Manoj, uh, what's the difference in RFI request for information? What is the difference with RFP request for proposal? And what is the difference in auction? And here I will say to all of you guys, that's a very good question. So, Manoj, in simple terms, can you explain us the difference? Now, let's say, guys, you have never buy a smartphone before. You don't know anything about smartphone. So, how you will buy the smartphone? You will go to a shopkeeper, right? Or in a shop where smartphone is being sold. So basically, there you will ask this particular guy, "Hey, boss, I want to buy a smartphone." They will ask you, "Okay, which model?" And I will say, "Which model means what? I don't know about it." So immediately they will ask, "Okay, what is the usage, or for what thing you are going to buy this particular smartphone?" Then I will say, "Okay, I want some decent camera pictures. Okay, some game I should want to play over there, and I want to watch the Netflix and Amazon Prime over there for multimedia consumption." So immediately that particular guy will say, "Okay, So I think as per your requirement over there, I think Samsung Galaxy A51 is much better over here. If you don't want to use that particular thing, then you can go ahead with some Xiaomi uh, Mi 8 over there, or you can go ahead with the Realme different product over there. Okay. Now depending upon your budget, basically what you will do, you will choose. Okay. I think Samsung Galaxy A51 SS, a good product compared with the price and quality over there, rather than comparing with the other thing. So I will take this thing. But before taking this thing, that particular guy is going to explain me everything about the smartphone, starting with the camera, the fingerprint sensor, the display, the RAM, the hard disk ROM installed over there, the charging point, the charging cable, the charging technology. Why? Because this particular option I'm saying, hey, Xiaomi phone, the Xiaomi phone which I have talked about, the Realme phone I have talked about over there, okay, and the Samsung phone I have talked about it over there. I am choosing the Samsung A51 over the other two phones. How I can choose it? Before choosing, I have to understand, right, what are the different parameters over there. Then I will compare the parameters as well as the price. Then I will decide, oh, this is the best product. So that is what you call as an example of RFI. RFI means, let's say, about the product you don't have any information about it. So what will happen is, like, supplier will basically start giving you the technical information. So once you're having enough technical knowledge about this particular product, then only you can close the RFI. The next step is basically RFP. So remember, RFP means, the assumption over here is you know about that particular product which you are going to buy. Okay. So you know about that particular product. So once you give the detailed requirement over there in RFP, their supplier is not going to give you the technical information. There they are going to submit the price. Different price over there from different supplier. And once the price has been given, then what will happen? You will basically then do a comparison, evaluation of supplier response, scoring, ranking, all those things you will check over there. Once that has been done, then you will basically award your RFP, request for proposal. Done. Now, most of you will start asking me, Manoj, after RFP, we will do the auction. And I will say, I am not going to argue on that particular point today. Why? Because today, basically, we are having a demo overview session. But that is very wrong statement. If you say that after RFP, I will always do auction, you will understand when we are going into the sourcing process flow session during our sessions, normal sessions. It's a very wrong statement to make. You have to know about it in a very proper way. That's the first thing. And second thing is, auction is a very different thing. Now, what is auction? Let us try to understand auction. So the auction over here basically means, guys, it's kind of, all the suppliers will come, they will do real time bidding, and what they will do is, like, they will decrease their price. At the end of the auction, what will happen is, like, whichever supplier has given you the lowest price will win. Okay. Some of you will say, Manoj, what you're talking about? Okay. You've seen, right? Different movies. Yeah. And you can see a painting is coming up over there. Okay. Different people will buy the painting. So there, what is happening? That auction and this auction, what is the difference? The two differences there. The first of all, that is basically physical auction. This is an online auction. And the second thing is, over there, the price will increase every time. Different shooter is giving their quotation. But here, the reverse will happen. That is, the price will go down. Exactly. That's the difference. Nothing else. Same thing over here. Okay. So always remember, whenever you are going to go in a project in the sourcing and you're going to talk about RFI, RFP auction, remember this is not from the ECC perspective, because in the ECC perspective, your mentality would be like, okay, RFI, then RFP, then auction. But as I said, in Ariba's process flow, Ariba's configuration are totally different compared to MM over there. And you will see that thing in our sourcing project sessions over there, why it is different. Okay. Now, once you have done the sourcing, you can say, Manoj, I am having the source of supply. What next? Of course, the contract. Now, why contract is required over here? Because within the contract, you are going to need a legal agreement. Because whatever you have taken from the suppliers, right? This quotation and all those things, these are not legal in nature. So that particular thing you have to capture over here in a contract. There's not much activity in the contract side, guys. Basically, two activities will be there. That is contract authoring activities, okay, and task completion activity over there. But one thing basically I want to touch base in contract is most of the trainer basically will not say anything about this DFS versus ECA. Okay, they are not going to talk about. Yes, guys. Yeah, we are going to, we are going to discuss about each of these particular different sub modules and modules within our solution over there. Just wait for it. Yeah, we will come. We'll come into that. DFS versus ECA. Why DFS and ECA is very important for all of us to understand. Why? Because none of the basic trainers, they are not going to talk about this thing. And what will happen is like they will basically train you on the DFS thing. All of you will understand, okay, this is only contract. Now when you will go into the project, you will see DFS is not used, ECA contract is being used. And you are saying, Manoj, like, I have been trained by some consultant over there. He did not say, he or she did not say anything about DFS or ECA over there. Now whatever I have been trained on the process flow and in the template configuration, what I've been learned, everything is not matching. Nothing is matching over there in the project. Why? Then I will say probably you have worked on the DFS one. DFS basically stands for desktop file syncing. Now desktop file syncing is a obsolete technology which is used by some older versions of Ariba. We basically use, guys, Ariba 15s. Basically, Ariba 15s is the latest version within the Ariba ecosystem for Ariba buyer. Exactly. So if you are using Ariba 12s, Ariba 13s over there you will get the DFS, desktop file syncing. And desktop file syncing has been made as obsolete. Why? Because whenever you will go to a implementation project right now, you will see your client is using Ariba 15s over there and they are using by default ECA. So the system basically which we will use to demonstrate our contract management process over here, guys, you will see that particular thing already have what? That particular thing is already having the ECA with themselves. Exactly. So in our case, ECA has to be done, or we will be working with ECA itself. ECA stands for Enhanced Contract Authoring. Exactly. Okay. So please keep this thing in your mind. It's a very important thing for all of you to understand. And in our session, both the process flow will be in ECA as well as template configuration for contract will be in ECA. It won't be in DFS. So rest be assured, whatever you're learning, same thing you can use in your project. Exactly. Very good. Now Done. So in contract, what we are basically doing is like we are capturing the pricing terms, we are capturing the line item details, we are also capturing what? The supplier details, and basically over here, guys, you will see only some basic things are coming, and that basic things is like contract authoring part using the ECA technology over there. The same thing we are going to notice in our session over here. That's the first thing. Okay. Now, once you have done the contract authoring part and contract task completion, which we will see in detail in our session, what next? SLP will come into the picture. What is SLP? Supply Lifecycle and Performance Management. Okay. What is this particular module used for? To basically onboard the supplier in Ariba. Very good. So Manoj, that means you are saying any supplier, if you want to onboard in Ariba, we have to use SLP, and I will say yes. Okay, what are the different sub processes within SLP? You will see within SLP we are having supplier request, registration, and qualification. The first thing all of you are going to ask me is why three processes? Again, guys, if you're having any query, please do just write it down so that you don't forget over there. Okay, we are going to take it during our question answer session. Exactly. So all of you are going to ask me that, Manoj, why we are having multiple steps within SLP over here? Why not we are having a single step thing over here? Single step thing means like only single step process, because in SRM MM we used to have only one single step process. But why we are not having single step process over here? Then I will say to all of you guys, the architecture of buyers and suppliers, as well as the relationship between buyers and suppliers in Ariba, is totally different from ERP and SRM. Okay, so all of you should keep this thing in your mind. Why? Because as I said, in Ariba network there are 3.4 million supplier. Now if you are having 3.4 million supplier available within Ariba over there, and your from your Ariba buyer, that means from the buying side, you're sending a sourcing project to the supplier, how Ariba network will understand that, okay, Manoj, you are sending this particular sourcing project to ABC supplier, one among this 3.4 million supplier. How it will understand? Ariba network also need to understand, right? For which supplier you have to show that sourcing project. So that is where ANID comes into the picture. Ariba network ID. So always remember, every supplier, when they will register in Ariba network, their ANID, a unique ANID will be getting created. So that is why we are having three different sub processes over here to capture the different data for the supplier. Supplier request means you have created the supplier profile in Ariba buyer, but still their Ariba network ID has not been generated. So in supplier registration process, you will send them a mail and basically you will invite them that, boss, please come and register in the Ariba network. So once the supplier registers in Ariba network over there, they will have an ANID. Okay. Once they have the ANID, then basically your Ariba buyer will be able to understand that particular supplier in a very simple way. Qualification, why you have to do it now? That's a very good question. Basically, to qualify a supplier. Now, why you want to qualify a supplier? This will require a very good knowledge from all of you guys. And what is that thing? That is upstream, downstream. Guys, is it only a solution? And all of you will say yes. And I will also say yes, but some extra things are also present over here. What is extra thing? upstream is having a separate database, downstream is having a separate database. That means what? That means SLP is basically part of your upstream database or upstream solution, right? So the supply is created only in upstream. So that is not enough, right? The supply should be available in your downstream also after a certain point. So how you can make sure the supply is available in downstream? By doing the qualification. Once you have done the qualification for that particular supplier in SLP, that particular supplier will be automatically be reverted or basically be replicated from upstream to downstream, and then that particular supplier will be available in your Ariba downstream. Each and everything in Ariba is having a very good meaning over here, guys. If you understand that particular thing, you will understand the whole process. Otherwise, not. Okay, very good. So basically, we are having the upstream over here. Then before that, we have to go to the downstream. But before we go into the downstream, all of you are going to say, Manoj, whenever I will go for an interview, most of my client will come up to me and they will say, H2P is very important. H2P is very important. What is H2P? Just have a look in your chat box, guys. H2P or source to pay module. If you go to any project, if you go to any interview, they will start asking you H2P, H2P knowledge, source to pay, source to pay. And you will say, what is source to pay? So source to pay basically means, guys, what is happening is like your upstream solution plus downstream solution. This full end-to-end cycle, if you want to consider, then only source to pay will come. Now all of you will say it's a very simple thing, and I will say no, it's not a simple thing. Why? Because as I said, upstream is having a separate database, downstream is having a separate database. Yes, your supplier has been moved from upstream to downstream, but but this contract which you have created and you have published, where it is available? In upstream only. Exactly correct, in upstream only. Now if your contract bracket source of supply for new product is available in the upstream, how you can start order against that contract in downstream? You cannot do that, and that is a major issue. So that is where another module will come into the picture, that is contract compliance. What does contract compliance means over here, Manoj? Contract compliance is a bridge between what? Between upstream and downstream. Very good. That means any transactional document I can move between upstream and downstream through contract compliance. No, not at all. Only contract you can move. That is why contract compliance, not sourcing project compliance. Okay. So this is basically what we call as the contract compliance. What it does replicate this contract from upstream to downstream. Why? Because upstream is having a separate database, downstream is having a separate database over there. Okay, and you will need that particular contract within your downstream to further consume it. Exactly. Now in downstream, basically I will say P2P, nothing else. P2P. I think all of you will understand. P2P means Manoj is saying procure to pay. Very good. The process will begin from PR. For the PR, I can use this contract to create the PR. Exactly. I can also use the catalog items to create the PR. Very good. Then PR approval will be there. Once the PR approval happens, then PO will get created. Very good. This PO will be replicated to the supplier in Ariba network account. Now supplier, if they want, they can basically type in the ASN and send us the ASN, advanced shipping notification. Then what we will do from the Ariba buyer side, you will basically do the GR. Sometimes there is a very different technical name for the GR, that is receiving. Okay. Once this has been done, what next? Invoice. Supplier will basically create the invoice in Ariba network. It will come into Ariba buyer over there from there. And once the invoice comes over there, IR will happen. Invoice reconciliation. Two-way check, three-way check over here will basically work. Once everything is found out to be true, the status will go into reconciled for the IR. If there is any issue, it will say exception occurred. So manually, your admin basically has to come to the IR and remove that exception. Then only your IR will show the status as reconciled. Then basically, the payment will happen. And this is the process. It's not a very tough thing. Okay, Manoj, you have talked about this process. What configuration we are going to do? Now that's a very good thing. So in basically upstream, remember upstream basically is controlled with the help of template config. So in our upstream configuration, you will understand that we are mostly we are focused on the template configuration, not anything else. Similarly, if you go to the downstream, now here, remember guys, downstream is not focused towards the template. Why? Because there is no template. But remember, you have to load the catalogs. Okay. Plus, you have to do the config for catalog also. Yes, a lot of configurations are there. Very good. Now, what about the approval? Approval is also a separate thing over here. So downstream approval configuration will also we will see in detail. Why? Because we need to see the static approval, dynamic approval. Dynamic approval means what? Basically the approval lookup table configuration. Exactly. So what about Manoj, the approval workflow in upstream? Remember, it is part of your template configuration. Very good. Basically understood. I understood the basic things, right? Now you will say, let us discuss, Manoj, the most important point in Ariba. That is, and before that, a most important point, another thing, guys, guided buying. Now this is a very big craze across all the customer I have seen from the last 2 years. Okay, or 2.5 year, I've seen whenever we are going for any customer who is implementing downstream along with upstream over there, does not matter, but whenever they're selecting downstream, they're immediately coming over here. Excuse me. And they are saying, Manoj, I want to implement guided buying. What is guided buying? Because this is a very new thing over there. We are also going to see guided buying over there in our downstream part, guys. So please don't, you know, uh, worry on that part that Manoj, are we going to see guided buying or not? Yes, we are going to see that thing. The most important thing basically we are going to see is integration. Integration between ERP and Ariba. Now integration, whenever I will say, most of the basically guys, trainer or consultants or the participants, they will always say, Manoj, what are the configuration? And let me tell all of you guys, whenever I will see this particular type of question, guys, I will ask all of you guys, see, the Ariba configuration with ERP is very, very different between the configuration which you have done between ERP and other SAP products. Why? Because in that ecosystem where you have integrated the SAP system with SRM system or SAP system with another SAP, SAP ERP system with another SAP system, remember there you will use RFC. The data will move in IDOC format, which is understandable by both of the things. So what will happen? It's a proprietary technology which you are doing. Why? Because SAP already has pre-optimized their solution. So most of you will think, oh, if I know, understand the configuration, done. But you're forgetting that integration between Ariba and ERP. is very different. Why? Because Ariba, when it was developed, it was not developed in-house by SAP. So that means Ariba cannot understand RFC. Ariba cannot understand IDOC. So what does Ariba understand? Ariba understands CXML, commercial extensible markup language file. And if you ask me, Manoj, can ERP understand CXML? No, ERP does not understand CXML. So this is the first big challenge when SAP tried to integrate Ariba with ERP. And that is why you will see the whole integration is very, very different compared to ERP versus Ariba over there. Okay. So that means in our integration, we have to define a new approach. The same approach which we have taken by integrating SAP ERP with SAP SRM, we cannot take. So what's the approach? The approach over here is you have to understand what is the solution your client is implementing, because based on the solution, you are going to define your integration scenario. Now, once your integration scenario designing and building is completed, then you can go into the configuration. Not only that, you have to define yourself that which type of ERP you're connecting with Ariba. That means what? Basically, you have to define whether it's an on-premise ERP solution or a on-cloud ERP solution. Because we know, ECC and S4 HANA on-premise are on-premise solutions, right? But we are also having cloud version in S4 HANA. So that is why most of you will basically ask me, Manoj, are we going to see CIG in our system? Sorry, CIG in our integration? And I will say, I think the question, guys, should be changed. Why? Because remember, you are only talking about the new thing from Ariba without knowing. So you should basically ask me that, Manoj, I want to understand when I can implement CIG for certain client. Yes, for certain client you can implement CIG. For other client you have to implement CI9. Yes, CIG is the future product, but CI9 is also very stable, guys. So you should ask me, Manoj, in which project I should implement CI9, in which project I should implement CIG. That is the best question over here. And if you don't understand that particular thing, what will happen is like whatever SAP will be saying, whatever your client will be saying, you will listen to them. And when something error will come, SAP will say, it's a standard error. We are looking into this thing, but you have to bear with us. Client will say, boss, you are a functional consultant. Yes, we know we have some basic knowledge on Ariba, but if we can be very wrong over there. You have to help us. So that is why you have to be very, very careful in Ariba, guys. You have to understand what you are doing, why you are doing, especially with related to integration. If you're not understanding the integration over there, what will happen is like everybody will make you a fool, and later on something goes wrong. This guy, then he will say, hey, but the client said, but Ariba said. Ariba will say, hey, I said this thing, but right now we are having an error. We cannot help it. Client will also say, no, 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 this is not my forte. Yes, I did one recommendation. Even if it was wrong, you could have told me, because this thing happens. So that is why in integration, the first thing which all of you should focus on is building the scenarios, or you can say building slash designing the scenario. Once you know this particular thing, then know which technology to use. There will be some use cases. Which technology means CI9 versus CIG. Yes, they are pre-optimized for certain kind of connections. You have to know. Now, once you know this thing, then the last step is basically config settings. And I think most of you also don't know that there are bodies also. I think body, if you have worked in SRM over there, you will understand bodies concept. Body is basically business admin. Mostly source code changes will be done by the developer over there. Most of you would not have known that body concept is there. And most of the Ariba consultant over here, okay, they will say you are having BAPIs, you are having master programs. Okay, that program you customize it. Oh, very good solution, guys. Very good solution, I will say. Next, after 1 year, new version comes. What will happen? You will stop your process for 2 months, and you want to make sure that whatever you have customized, you have customized from the standard. That standard coding is changing. That means after every year, at the end of every year, 2 months you will take just to make sure that the customization which you have did, which has been changed, because the standard program has also been changed over there, its version has been changed. Same thing you are carrying it out in your custom things. No, we will not do this thing. We want to make sure that all of you understand each and every point over there in our configuration. So that is why I will suggest, don't go for all those custom bullshit. Go ahead with the body. If you know what is happening in the body, you will be very clear about that particular thing. Exactly. So that's the thing which we are going to see. Now, apart from this, we are also going to see one more thing, that is basically reporting. Again, misconception. Again, misconception over there. Reporting means, Manoj, we cannot change the source code in Ariba. Only Ariba engineering team can basically change the source code with the help of enhancement request. Very good. So that means reporting, there's a lot of changes. Who will do this thing? So what will happen is, like, Ariba consultant will download the report in Excel format. Within the Excel format, they will customize the report every week, and then they are going to manually send it to the end user. And you will start laughing. Why? Because you will see in our sessions, not only you can customize this particular thing, you can customize and add the client's custom formula, client's custom field automatically within the reporting section without any enhancement request. Apart from that, you can schedule this particular report to run in the background. Hell yeah, I will say to all of you guys that even your reporting end user, they don't need to log into Ariba. I will show you how to automate this thing. That means once your report runs in the background, notification mail will be triggered to all the end user of your reporting section. And the second thing is, they will receive the report output in a proper Excel format, in that particular format which you want over there, or basically which your client wants. This kind of customization and configuration can be done in Ariba without a single enhancement request. That can be done, guys. So that also we are going to see in our sessions. Okay, so now you can say that, yes, Manoj, these are the things which we are covering in our session. And yes, guys, I will say to all of you, these are the things which we are going to cover in our session. None of these things are theoretical in nature. Everything what you are seeing over here is practical. That means from the project exposure, we have taken this particular thing, guys. Every topic you will say, like, Manoj, I think this is a coincidence, and I will say, no, this is not a coincidence, guys. Whatever happens in the project, we have taken over there, we have designed this carefully over there. Nothing is coincidence over there. Everything what we are seeing over here is a careful balanced thing which we have taken from our 8 years of exposure, and basically we're using it over here. Okay, so guys, this is basically the end of the demo content. The content means basically for the Ariba related thing in our demo session which we wanted to show to all of you. This is the thing. But before we proceed ahead with question answer session, I think it will be much wise that, let Iraj show you all the other things. That means there will be a hell lot of document, hell lot of certification materials, hell lot of things which we will be sharing with all of you as part of the training. Yes, of course, the sessions are important over there, but apart from the sessions, we are also going to give a hell lot of document, hell lot of things to all of you guys over there. So before the question answer session, it will be much wiser that Ada shows you all those things, because those things are also very important over there. Yeah, just a moment.
Yes. Hi, Manoj. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here only.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Hello, Ada.
yeah, guys, so I hope like you got little insight on SAP Ariba, like how the different module functions and what are the different features of SAP Ariba, how we are going to work in SAP Ariba as well. So guys, I will be showing you little insight on the training part. What are the offerings? What are the services we provide as part of the training? Also, that's very important because this training is very practical oriented training, and I can say this is basically complete end-to-end hands-on training. Okay, in which we'll be covering most of the aspects on the system itself. Okay, so let me proceed and show you like what are the important things you'll be getting as part of this training. Okay, let me make myself as presenter. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, Manoj, can you see my screen now?
yeah, Raj, I'm able to see your screen perfectly.
Okay, great then. So guys, first thing is like all the sessions which you are attending also going to be recorded. Okay, and apart from the recordings, we'll be offering a lot of documents and server access, everything. Let me open this thing with any one of the previous batches. Okay, so basically these are we'll be sharing everything through Google Drive. Okay, it's a something like SharePoint. Most of you might be aware like what exactly the Google Drive is. So we'll be sharing all the documents, important documents, recordings, CVs, everything through Google Drive. Okay, so there are basically 7 folders over here. Okay, so like session recordings, Ariba access, notepads, documents, certification material, learning hub videos, and sample CVs. Okay, all these will be shared with you. We'll be going one by one and see what exactly they're inside. Okay, first session recordings. Okay, if I'm opening session recordings, all the sessions which you're attending will be recorded, and we'll be sharing the recordings as the sessions are happening. Okay, since this is a weekday session, so in the weekday session we'll be having the schedule from Monday till Thursday. Sometimes we'll be also extending this one till to Friday as well. Okay, and the timings already, 7:30 a.m. IST to 9:30 a.m. IST, or 10 o'clock 10 a.m. IST. Okay, so these are the timings what we have here now. So as the sessions are happening on the same day, by evening end of the session, we'll be going to end of the day, we'll be sharing these recordings in the recording folder. Okay, now the second is Ariba access. So as part of the training, we'll be giving you 24/7 access of Ariba for 2 months. Okay, so you can access the system, because you see Ariba access is something which is really challenging here. Okay, it's a cloud solution. It's not like on-premise solution where you can get it easily in the market, or you even like sometimes you can get an IDS kind of system if it's an ECC kind. So even like S4 HANA on premise also you can get it easily, very easily, because we can install with a trial version, or even we can have a original versions. That's not so costly kind of things here. But Ariba Access is a cloud version, as Manoj said initially, and we need to take the subscription directly from SAP Ariba. Okay, you can't get it anywhere in the market. So this is something very challenging, but we have the subscription already, so we'll be giving you the access 24/7 for 2 months. Now the next is like notepads. So in notepads basically are the documents, I mean to say like the classwork. In short, I can say it's a classwork which Manoj will be showing you. Let's say for example I'm talking about catalog. Okay, so I'm just opening this one to make a view of this one. So in this particular catalog session, so Manoj will be describing like different steps, what are the important pointers here, like how he has described in the demo session today. And these things will be kept here for your reference in the notepad folders. Okay. Now, after this one, we are also having like documents, which are very important. Okay, we do have plenty of documents here. Okay. So these documents are also segregated with respect to upstream, downstream, and integration. Okay. if you're saying like upstream one, so we have with the process wise like SLP process, contract compliances, and even we do have our standard documents as well, like self-prepared documents, configuration documents, which are being prepared by Manoj. Okay, so this is about upstream, and similarly we do have for downstream as well. Okay, same, like lot many documents are there with respect to downstream, and also we do have for the integration as well. Okay, now coming to the next important thing here, certification material. So basically guys, here there are totally 9 certifications in SAP Ariba. Okay, and we have the material for all those 9 certifications. Let's go into the official website of SAP, training.sap.com, where there is a list of certifications available over here for SAP Ariba. You can see here, yeah, from Ariba catalog. Okay, so these are the most latest certifications update here from SAP Ariba catalogs till Ariba integration. So there are 9 certifications available here, and these 9 certifications is not really mandatory for you to even get one certification also. It's not really mandatory, but it's always a good idea, I mean to say, like it will give you a weightage in your profile if you are, you know, certified in 1 or 2 certifications here. Okay, not all, or nobody is going to have the certification for all 9 certificates here, but if you are getting like most prominent certification, I can say majorly from upstream, or you know, Ariba catalogs, contracts, or you know, sourcing. Okay, these are the things which are really helpful, any one of these one or not all of that. So if you are having Ariba sourcing, then it's really going to be helpful. And for the downstream, Ariba procurement, so this is the one which will be really helpful for you in order to, you know, have a weightage in your profile. That's it. So there is not much difference. Like if you are a certified, you can be a solution architect, you can, you know, do the work in a you know, excellent way. There is no such thing here. This is an optional thing, but equally important, I can say. So these certification materials, okay, we do have all the certification materials available here. Okay, so now even like we can see the dumps. Okay, so there are a lot of dumps available here, and also there are many books which are standard Ariba books. Okay, again, buying category catalogs, okay, sourcing, okay, and updated material, and there are, you know, standard books are also available over there, and best practices material is also available over there. So it means like you do have lot of information here which you really can which will be really helpful for you to you know, enhance your knowledge more. Okay, and apart from this one, Manoj training is going to cover almost 75 to 80% in terms of all certifications. Okay, and whichever the gap is there, theoretically you can cover it through certification material here. I just want to show you one dump here. Okay, so let's say for example, if we are talking about sourcing. Okay, yeah. Okay, so these are the you know, actual questions which are appeared in the certification exams with the answers. So you'll be having, you know, clarity like what kind of questions will be coming and how tough they are, so you can gauge yourself, you can gauge your knowledge before you're appearing for any of the certification. You're getting my point. So the next is basically we'll be having learning hub videos. Okay, so these are also very important, the learning hub videos. So these videos are basically the uh, training, recorded training videos from SAP directly. Okay, SAP will be conducting, you know, online trainings for different modules, okay, in SAP Ariba itself. So we have you know, got it all the recordings of those particular video which are having like Ariba administration, procurement, contract, and sourcing. Okay, so if you're talking, so there are many videos over here, a lot of videos, and every video is more than 2 hours of time, you know, some videos are even 3 hours also. Okay, everything we have maintained here in a very proper way, so we'll be getting the complete recorded sessions of SAP trainings as well. And the last is basically SAP Ariba CVs. I mean to say, like the CVs from, there are different sample CVs here, right? In short, I can say here with different experiences and you know, uh, different domains, in the sense like some people are directly coming from procurement, they don't have any exposure to SAP products, for example. Okay, some of them are coming from MM side, and even MM side also, some of them are having 3 years of experience, some of them are having 8 years of experience. Okay, and some you know, resources are coming from SD side. okay, not procurement side, SD side. Some of them are coming directly from procurement. So he's just a procurement executive or procurement manager. He's not technically involved in configuration of any of the product. Either it's a anything like Oracle procurement or even PeopleSoft procurement, anything. And some of them are coming from different procurement domains like uh, Coupa or PeopleSoft, all these things. So those kind of mixed resumes are there here. So based upon your profile and your experience, you can tweak your present resume, and you can send it those resumes to us, and we'll be really helping you out to prepare your or I can say like shape your resume with respect to your profile and the current market trends here. Okay, we'll be really helping you to prepare your resume as well. And also with respect to the job prospective who are willing to switch to Ariba from different areas, so we'll be definitely helping you out in terms of uh, you know uh, giving a little insight like how the interviews are going to be. And after you prepare your profile, so definitely you're going to market it. And once you're getting the calls, definitely with the calls you'll be getting the job description as well. So you can forward those job description to us, and we'll be having one-on-one call with you before the interview, like what you need to talk in the interview, how it would be, and based upon the company and based upon the whether the project is on upstream, and based upon the roles and responsibilities which are mentioned in the JD, will be really helping you and giving a little insight or overview about what you need to talk, and you can build a confidence before going to the interview. Okay. And believe me guys, like this training will be in depth. You can portray yourself up to 2 to 3 years of experience easily, and you can justify the same in interview as well as in the job. I mean, like once you're on board on any project, definitely you can justify your knowledge on that. Okay. So these are the things which is a quick glance what we are offering here. And apart from this one, there are many other documents which I really wanted to show you. Okay, let's say for example, okay, so yeah, these are the latest documents here. Okay, SAP Ariba latest documents, in which we are going to add these documents as well, like project documentation and integration downstream and upstream. So these are the most latest one and up-to-date documents. For example, I'm opening anything like, for example, I'm opening sourcing document here. Just want to show you like how is there inside. Okay, so this is the most 2020 February document. It means like hardly like 3 to 4 months older one, which is the most latest which we have downloaded it from connect.ariba.com. So these documents, these kind of documents, you can't get it outside, like you can't get it in Google, or you can't get it anywhere in the market, I can say. Okay, let's say for example, if I am opening just CIG configuration guide. Okay, so this is also the most latest one. This is even like March one. Okay, March 2020 document. So like this, like we have the latest documents, and the drive which I have shown you, we keep on upgrading, and this drive access will be there with you lifelong. Okay, we are not going to revoke this access even after the training as well. So as long as you want to avail the services free of cost after the training. Okay, of course the training cost, so the drive access will include in that one only for lifelong. So we are not going to charge you extra to retain your drive for more time. Okay, it would be totally free. Not only that one, we are even like adding couple of new upgrades. For example, the latest things are coming like SSC, okay, supply chain collaboration. Okay, if there are certain new upgrades also, we'll be updating these particular G drive accordingly. Okay, so you can have a check on this one. So always the drive is keep on updating here. Okay, and apart from that, we do have like project documentations. Okay, just want to give you a quick this one. So these kind of documents. Okay, this is basically business requirement workbook, like how you are going to log the information from the business requirement. So this is a sample project document, how you are going to maintain it. So this is really going to be helpful for you once you are onboarded in a project. So the things will not be looking to new to you. So what kind of documents I'm going to handle, how I'm going, because documentation is one of the very important factor here as well. Now apart from this one, even we do have like okay, functional configuration template best practices. Okay, so this is basically the Ariba buying invoicing. This is the standard template. okay, which will be really helpful for you to build up the functional configuration. Okay, so everything is there, like except all the fields which are required here are empty here, we have taken it out, and this is a reference document which will be really helpful to build up a functional configuration document. Okay, and apart from this one, we do even have like business requirement workbook, or project character workbook. Business requirement workbook, already we have seen it. Now these are the this is also very, I mean, it's like kind of document which will be coming up in your project. So you'll be already, you are already having the sample of this one, and we'll be discussing what kind of what is the use of these documents also in the training. So yeah, so these are the things which will be shared with you in the Google Drive, and the access will be there for lifelong for this particular drive, and you can access it anytime whenever you want it, 24/7. Okay, so this particular batch we are planning to start from Tuesday or Wednesday would be the first session. Okay, Wednesday would be the most tentatively, like Wednesday would be the first session. Tomorrow we are open for the registration, and by tomorrow evening you can enroll it. From Tuesday we are going to start the session. Okay, yeah, so this is my say. If you are having any questions, please raise your hands, we'll be answering your questions. Anything like with respect to uh, administrative aspect, or with respect to subject wise. Okay, any questions, please raise your hands, guys. Okay, yeah, I'll be unmuting you one by one so that you can voice out your questions. Yeah, I'll go with Karthik. Yeah, please, Karthik, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Manoj. Hi Raj.
Yeah, hi,
Yeah,
Karthik.
I could say like Manoj, it was a very pleasant demo one. Actually, I have seen one more demo in the YouTube actually, and this one looks pretty much good than that one. Like it was 1 year old, I think, and I can feel it's
Yeah,
very much
what
updated.
we have done is, Karthik, sorry to interrupt you here, we have added so many things in this one. Okay, and
Yes.
still, like, there are few more things are coming up, so always there is an upgrade. Okay, if you
Yes.
go to our YouTube channel, you can even see the last Thursday demo. Okay, you can see in our
Okay.
YouTube channel the latest video, so that is more effective because more number of people are there, more queries are there. Even I'll be
Yes.
sharing those, that particular demo as well. Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much
one
for
more
your.
thing, I just want to ask: if I enroll for this weekday session, and because of some issues then I could not be able to attend this weekday session, then it will be good enough to switch to weekend session, and how it will be?
Yes, yeah, it would be provided, like it should be in sync, in the sense, like,
Yes.
you see, like what happened was we have already started a weekend morning session. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for which we have already completed 4 sessions, and
Mm-hmm.
for weekend basically we are having 3.5 hours on Saturday, 3.5 hours on Sunday, so it means like 7 hours we are completing over there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if you are missing even 1 week, it means you missed 7 hours. You're getting my
Yes.
point. And we are planning to start weekend evening session in July. Okay, so it means like there is a gap. If those who are willing to wait, if you can continue this session, always you can shift it over there, that's not a big deal. Yeah,
Okay.
or vice versa. Yeah, you can.
Okay. And what will be the duration of this particular course?
Is approximately, in number of hours would be justifiable, yeah, 40 to 45 hours of course. And for
Mm-hmm.
the weekdays, for the current batch, we'll be having, as I said to you, 7:30 a.m. IST to 9:30 or 10 a.m. IST. It means like daily we'll be covering 2 to 2.5 hours from Monday
Mm-hmm.
to Thursday. Tentatively on Friday also we'll be extending it, so it will be completed quickly. I can say less than a month.
In
For
less than
weekdays,
a month.
for weekdays, for weekends it will go for 6.5 weekends. That's fixed one, 6.5
Okay.
weekends. But
Okay.
for weekday session, the current session, it would be
Mhm.
finished within a month.
Okay. Okay. Fine. And we will be having access for 2 months
Yes, 2 months.
for the
The
server.
day you are enrolling it, okay? Or you
Okay.
can wait for 1 or 2 days. Once you enroll, even like you feel like, okay, I just don't want to use it right now. Okay,
Mm.
let me have the access after first 1 or 2 sessions. So still you can
Mm-hmm.
hold it for 1 or 2 days maximum. Yeah.
Okay.
From there, your
And if
count will
I
start.
want to extend the server access, then how it could be?
It is basically depend upon the availability of the access after 2 months, because you see, like we are running 4 batches right now. Okay, two
Okay.
on weekends, two on weekdays, morning and
Mhm.
evening. So every batch tentatively will be having 15 participants. So we do have 60 tenants with us, 60 accesses.
Okay.
If the number of participants are less, if we are left with excess accesses, definitely our old participants would be the first preference to give the access to them, and it's on
Mhm.
pay per month basis. Okay, how much
Okay.
is the cost and all, you can connect with your sales, connect with our sales team, they'll be helping you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, Manoj. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, Karthik, thank you so much. Is there anything related with any technical queries like of the
And
stream?
no, I'm good. I'm good with the demo, whatever I have got today.
Oh, okay, that's great.
It's really
Thank you
good.
so much,
Yeah.
Karthik. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much,
thanks,
Karthik.
Karthik.
Yeah, okay, so we move on to Raghul. Yeah, Raghul, please unmute yourself.
Um, Thanks, Manoj, for the session. I have one query. So basically, I don't have background of SAP MM or SAP SRM. This Ariba and procurement is completely new to me. So I want to ask, like, how it would help me to how this training would help me to know about the procurement and Ariba.
Raghu, can you just brief little about your profile to Manoj? Because I know your profile, but I want you to brief
Um,
your profile about
Yeah, sure.
your profile.
Manoj,
Doesn't.
I have worked with Accenture for like 3 years as SAP ABAP consultant.
Okay. So Raghu, just I'm going to ask you one simple thing over there. So basically, you're having basic knowledge about the procurement. That means, let's say, if I'm talking about uh, RFP, contract, or let's say PRPO. So are you able to understand these particular terminologies? P2P.
Uh, yes, I can. I'm able to understand those stuffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
basic things about procurement, PR,
Yeah.
PO.
Yeah, so basically that is the requirement for our session over here. See, basically we want all of you to have a procurement background. That means, you should not ask me that, Manoj, what is PR, what is PO in between when we are basically describing the things. See, each of these particular sessions, we are going to, describe everything in details. But remember, our session will always start from the basic things. Then it will go into the average complexity thing. Then it will go into the full complexity things, so that it is understandable by all over there. Why? Because we will have diverse set of candidates. Some of the candidates or consultants will be new to Ariba. Some of them will be having uh, basic knowledge about Ariba. Some of them will be having advanced knowledge of Ariba. So we will cater to everybody of them. That's the first thing. Second thing is, we want to let all of you know that we will use very simple terms and terminology so that all of you can understand each and every point over there. But the
Okay,
basic things is like the PR, PO, these things you should understand. The rest of the things we can carry in forward over there. You will see that most of the things are happening in a perfectly understandable way. We will not use any technical jargons and all those particular things.
all right. Yes, Manoj, thank you.
But
And
one more thing, Raghu. Just
yes,
since you're not having a full domain knowledge in procurement,
okay,
excuse me, uh, you should understand that you have to give a little bit of more hard work compared to other participant. This particular thing you should keep in mind, because we want to be brutally honest with all of our candidate. Because see, you're not having a full domain knowledge over there. So when I will say procure to pay over there, what are the different scenarios which will happen within procure to pay, you will not have that knowledge. So yes, we will discuss this thing, we will see in our session, but remember, you have to put in a little bit more hard work compared to the other candidates over there. So that particular thing, that is why I said, like, our whole session is basically a coordination between me, our sales team, Eraj, as well as all the participants over there.
okay. Uh, yeah, thanks, Manoj. And one more thing, like how the SAP Ariba market is now. Can you just explain on that?
SAP Ariba market, let me say to all of you guys, compared to now as well as in future, you will see the Ariba market is growing. It's not only about Ariba. If you look at any cloud solution over there, SAP itself has, making this particular transition to cloud from 2015 onwards. Yeah, before 2015 it was at a very nascent stage, but in 2015 is the timeline from where Ariba has picked up the pace. So right now you will see within the SAP's portfolio for every solution, including procurement, including HR, including CRM, for everything it is already having a on cloud solution. Why? Because it wants, and basically it understand the client, most of the client as well as the market is moving from the on premise to on cloud solution. So if you want to basically grow in your career, you want to become something more over there, and rather just not surviving your career but to thrive and grow in your career, you have to switch from a on premise based thing to a on cloud solution based thing. So that is where Ariba will come. So procurement basically means it will be basically moving from the on premise to the on cloud solutions over there. So not only now, if you want to continue in a thriving career in procurement, you have to move to Ariba, because not only for now but in future also it will be very very good.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Manoj. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
That's it.
welcome Raghu.
Yeah, thank you so much. Shivam. Yeah, Shivam, please go ahead with your question.
Shivam, I think you need to unmute yourself first.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning Shivam.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the demonstration, sir. It was very good. And
Yeah.
plus, the main thing which I wanted to understand here, like we talked about the upstream part of the sourcing, contract, SLP, everything. So, we'll be discussing about the spend analysis planning part also with the upstream part.
See, see, the thing is like spend analysis, you just won't be using spend analysis separately. So basically,
Okay,
it is part of your reporting. That's the first thing first over here. Second
okay,
thing is like reporting is not only with respect to upstream. Reporting means we are talking about all the master data, all the transactional data over here. So including upstream and downstream. So that is why if you see reporting, I have covered at the end. You can see over here in my notepad, reporting is coming as the last point. Why? Because it can only be done after upstream and downstream. Why? Because this will involve both the upstream data as well as downstream data. So that is why
okay,
once we have completed the upstream and downstream, then only we will go ahead with the reporting, so that all of you are having an idea that okay, these are the data which you will see in upstream, these are the data which you will see in downstream, what are the different scenarios over there. Then basically reporting will make sense. Otherwise what will happen is like, uh, if we take the session in upstream for the reporting, that will be half of the session. Another half of the session we have to do it in downstream. So it will, what will do is like, it will confuse all of you more rather than clarifying the concepts over there. So that is why once we have completed upstream and downstream, before we start with the integration or during the integration time, we will basically keep the reporting, so that all of you are able to get clarity on reporting and how you can handle the reporting part in your project.
okay. So this complete planning and spend analysis part is just mainly related to the reporting part itself.
Exactly. It's basically for the reporting part only. Reporting part means what? That working with the reports over there, right? Once you are having the data with yourself, then you will be doing the reporting itself, right? So that is what
Okay.
the concept of reporting is in the whole of Ariba.
Okay. And talking about the SLP part, like when we were talking about the like the complete sourcing contract and then the SLP part. So this is the particular flow of the when we are into implementation, or I believe that we are going for the SLP and then according to the onboarding, then we are going for the contract sourcing. I was a bit
Now that's
confused with respect to
basically,
this.
if you have watched our recording, not recording, excuse me, if you have watched our demo before, there basically we have said that SLP is the beginning point. Exactly.
Okay.
As Iraj also pointed out, that we also keep ourselves upgraded with whatever happening with Ariba over there. Now, if you
Right.
see at SLP basically Ariba has very much integrated this SLP solution with the integration topic. It's very much integrated. Why? Because as you know, the supplier integration is one of the major steps in the whole integration scenario. If your supplier
Yeah.
integration fails over there and it's not happens properly over there, what will happen is like your whole integration will suffer. So that is
Right.
why SLP now has been included rather than being part of the upstream to that of the part of the integration. That's the first thing. Second thing is
Okay.
like, as we said, their process will be done by the end user. We will also have a part in that. So that particular things, it's much wiser to cover this thing in integration. Why? Because Ariba has changed the direction as well as the functionality of SLP in such a way that it is more of a integrated related approach in your project rather than a upstream related approach. Yes, theoretically, if you ask me, I will say yes, SLP is part of upstream. But if you ask me from a
Okay.
project point of view, I will say SLP is more aligned with the integration approach rather than the upstream approach over there from the project perspective.
Okay. So if we am talking about the complete like the sourcing contract SLP part as a strategic sourcing, which we came to know that the latest strategic sourcing suit that came up. So like we will be talking about the integration with that particular aspect also, any demonstration related to that particular
Exactly.
suit also.
It's a very good question which you have done. I will rather say strategic sourcing integration rather than using that word. I will say upstream integration. That
Okay.
would be proper wordings over there. Yes. So that is why I said the first session which we are going to cover in the integration is building or designing the scenario. Now how your scenario will be defined? Your scenario will be defined by the solution your client is implementing. If your client is implementing only upstream, so in that case upstream solution will be integrated with your ERP solution, right? So for that you will have a different scenario. If you're going to a client who is only implementing downstream, so downstream will basically connect with your ERP. So what will happen again? Your scenario will change completely. And let's say you're going to a client where both upstream as well as downstream solution is coming over there. So for that particular thing, what will happen? The full scenario will change over there. So that is why I said building or designing the scenario is the most important part in your integration, and that depends upon the solution which your client is buying.
Okay.
So that is the first thing which we are going to see in our integration session. That is the most important thing.
Right. Right. Plus one thing here, I just wanted to understand, like from my perspective, like my company wants me to, they want us to enroll for the mainly for the strategic sourcing part. They want to uplift this because there's a good ground for this strategic sourcing part with the upstream and all. So like you told that reporting is also part of that particular spend analysis planning and everything, and integration is also part of that particular aspect. So, but that will
Yeah.
be discussed at the end after downstream and everything.
Yeah.
So will it
I will
will it be
suggest,
yeah,
excuse me,
okay.
Shivam, I will suggest over here. Yes, you're correct over there. But remember, your company is basically asking you over here. So I will suggest use your basically mind. Why? Because I think when you're shifting to Ariba, you want a fulfilling career in Ariba, right? Not just work for in Ariba for 2 years, then after that reconsider the decision. Why? Because Ariba has a great future ahead. So you should continue working in Ariba. So my suggestion is, yes, there are a lot of participants who will say, Manoj, I will only go for upstream. Manoj, I will only go for downstream. The first suggestion which we will tell to them is, boss, are you looking to work in Ariba for 2 years and then leave Ariba? Because Ariba, once you're having that access over there, it will lead to very good growth in your career. It will thrive your career. So why you want to leave it and look for something else? Then they will ask why. Because remember, if you are working in upstream only, okay, and you're preparing yourself upstream, that means you are saying only 50% or maybe 45% of the solutions of Ariba I am having expertise. I have done the work. And for the rest of the 50 or 55%, I don't have knowledge, or basically I'm not interested in it. So my suggestion is go ahead with both upstream and downstream, so that right now, let's say you're working with your company and they're focusing on upstream. Very good. Tomorrow you change your company or you change your project and they're basically you're only getting downstream, so you can also work in that downstream also. So don't make yourself redundant. Make yourself ready for every eventuality. Upstream only I can work, downstream only I can work, upstream plus downstream of course I can work. So in this way what will happen is like your career growth will be much more compared to learning a part of Ariba.
Mm, yeah, right.
So that would be our suggestion. Rather than just focusing on one solution, I will suggest focus on the whole solution, because frankly speaking, nobody expect to work in your company over there just for upstream. Now let's say you're getting a good opportunity in somewhere else. Let's say you're getting opportunity from Deloitte or KPMG
Yeah.
or from Accenture over there. You will leave your organization, right? You're getting a good high, you're getting a good position, and you're getting a good project to learn for, to work for over there. So you will choose, everybody will choose, leave the current organization, and they will join the new organization. So in that case, let's say only downstream is there, or upstream plus downstream both are there. So at that point of time, shifting from upstream to downstream will be quite tough. So when you're learning at that stage, learn the whole of Ariba. So what will happen is, like, you don't have to get yourself ready. I am ready by itself over there, you can say at that point.
Yep. Right. Yeah, that's it from my part. So thank you.
Yeah, welcome Shivam.
Yep. Thank you, Shivam, for this. Okay. Ragul, you are having any more query? Because you raise your hand.
No, I don't have any query. That's
Okay. Okay. Not an issue. So yeah, Manoj. So I guess like everybody has finished their questions. I think your explanation was in a very proper way. So most of the queries are been already answered over there. Okay, all right then, guys. So this recording will be shared to you. Okay, and please connect with our business relationship executives.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
uh,
think Raj, we
no,
are having some
no,
questions, more
Saktivel.
questions.
Oh, okay, okay. Saktivel is asking, is Ariba front end for SAP ACC? No.
No, no, no,
SAP
not at all.
is basically different, and Ariba is different. Ariba is a cloud solution, and it's a non-ERP thing. Okay, and SAP ECC is basically is a different okay, a centralized component is there where your complete ERP is residing. These two things are totally different. Yeah. So I
Why
guess like
we need to
Raj,
connect? Just a moment, Raj. I think he has asked one more query over there. So basically,
yes, yes.
let me tell all of you guys. Don't go into the technicality first. So if you go to a restaurant over there to eat over there, now let's say you have ordered something biryani over there. Do you think, or let's say you want to go for a kebab, do you think the chicken will be killed over there, and they will be processing the chicken, and then they will cut it into pieces, and then they will prepare it? No. If you go over there, you will see that it is already processed. Yeah. So what will happen is, like, when you will give the order, they will basically yes, perform some activity over there, but it won't be like starting from the beginning. Same thing when you will go into your Ariba project and you will do the implementation. See, all of your master data is present within your ERP. So the same thing, why you are going to manually create in Ariba? You just can integrate your ERP with Ariba, and you can move those data which is existing in ERP to Ariba. Yeah, am I audible, Iraj?
Yeah, Manoj, you're audible. I think everybody
Yeah.
on
Thanks, Iraj. Yeah.
no
Am I
problem.
audible, Iraj?
Proceed. Yes,
Yeah.
Manoj, you are
So
very much audible.
yeah, I think actually my earphone USB came out over there. Okay, okay. Let me just clarify over there. So basically, when you will go for a greenfield implementation on Ariba, so remember why you are going to create all this particular data with yourself, because those data will be available within your ERP from the last years, from even from the starting also. So use the master data integration, automatically transfer all this data from your ERP to Ariba, so that you don't have to do manual activities. So that is the major reason each you have to do a connection of SAP ERP with that of, or slash S4 HANA with that of Ariba over there. Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, yeah. Eraj? Yeah. Yes, Karthik. So basically, our whole training over here is based on the scenarios. Exactly. What are the scenarios which is happening in the project? Based upon that only, we will be seeing it over there. Nothing is theoretical. Everything is scenario based. So always keep this thing in your mind. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Rajshekar, you are having any query?
Yeah, Rajshekar, would you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, Rajshekar, I think you need to unmute yourself over here.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Rajshekar, we are able to hear you now.
Yeah, thanks. And the session was good, and most of the questions were already answered. But I have one doubt. The thing is, I heard like there will be upgrade in Ariba for every 3 months. If suppose there is any such upgrade after the class, so will you be able to provide that session also in the Google Drive later?
See, there is two things over here, as Eraj pointed out over there, that whenever that upgrade and all those things is coming over there, including the things on the document side also, that will be upgraded. But first of all, remember, generally Ariba does not get upgraded after every 3 months. What you're talking about there is basically monthly update. So Ariba basically release some monthly patches over there, but remember that will not change your functionality. Those particular patches basically from the user interface part or the color part and all those things. So those are immaterial. So what you meant to say is like, Manoj, we are having different major version of Ariba, like 14 years, 15 years, and all those things. Those things, remember, will only get updated after every 2 years or maybe 3 years. So when that particular thing happened over there, or a new module got launched over there, or some functionality has been added from one version to another version, that we basically take care by including this thing in our new batch. Same thing will be provided to all of you guys in our old batch.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for.
Yeah. Welcome, Rashik.
Yeah.
I think,
Guys, is
Eraj,
there anyone?
we can conclude our session because I think there is
Yes.
no more query over here.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, thanks for attending the session. Okay, and you can connect with business executives, okay, sales people, so that they'll be helping you out for the further process. And the first session tentatively will be starting from Wednesday, that is day after tomorrow. Okay, so if at all you are having any queries, you still connect to me as well. You can find my number over there in the email which you have got it for the invitation. Okay, so if anything, you can connect me. All right. So, and thanks a lot, Manoj. So that was a wonderful session, and you really, explain everything in a very proper order and answer the queries in a very efficient
Yeah.
way. Thank you.
Once
Thanks a
again,
lot.
thanks, Eraj. It was actually a teamwork. It was very good work, not only from my side, but also from your side, as well as our whole sales team. So it's basically a team working over here rather than a single guy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manoj, for your generosity. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys. Let's meet you on Wednesday again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Eraj. And thanks, everybody over here.
Yeah. Thank you.